It appears as though magic can be taught in this universe, so a witch doesn't inherently have to have powers in order to walk the witch's road. Now, before I get into any more details, if you don't want any spoilers for Agatha All Along Episode 3 through many miles of tricks and trials, go ahead and skip this video and come back once you've watched it. But if you decide to stick around, let's go ahead and get into it. This episode starts off with our ball of sunshine getting really frustrated at the fact that the party she was invited to sucks. It's not very fun. They're on this road and they're shoeless and everybody appears to be confused, and obviously she can feel the tension that exists within the group. Of course, in having these conversations, though, there are a lot of sidebars going on with Jennifer in particular. Obviously, the focus of this episode is Jennifer, but Jennifer pointing out some questions that do deserve some answers. The first being in reference to Sharon, i.e., how does a witch or how does a person with no powers end up on the witch's road? And this is where we hear Teen say something very important. He states that witches can be taught. You don't have to have a power, you can learn it. Now, we also get some very important information about Teen in this opening scene. And up until this point, I was pretty ambivalent on whether or not Teen was good or bad. I really couldn't tell. I don't think there was enough information. But it's here on the witch's road where the witches, in addition to being very curious as to why Sharon was there, start getting really interested about Teen as well. So they tell him to introduce himself. And Teen, being Teen, very happy, very chill, happily does so. But the same thing that happened to Agatha when Teen introduced himself happened to the witches as well, and they all saw it. But this is where we get the information that Teen has a sigil on his lips, and the sigil has the purpose of masking him from magical users, right? Whatever the sigil is, whoever put it on him had the intention of shielding him so nobody could find him. And so to me, that's definitely going to be a route we go down in the future. Now, personally, I have a small idea that the sigil might serve two purposes. This sigil could be to truly protect Teen and to hide him, but it could also have been to hide people from him, to stop them from knowing who he is. We don't know about Teen's true nature is, although at this time he seems quite friendly and quite nice. So I'm still reserving judgment on Teen. I'm very curious about him. But moving on, at this point, the Coven has noticed that in their questioning of Teen, Sharon has gone missing. And they go to find her and she's being sucked up in some sort of quicksand because she doesn't want to let go of her purse that she bought from Talbot's. Whatever. So the witches are pulling her off. She's muddy and gross, and that's when Agatha reiterates the song. Stay on the witch's road, basically. But ahead in the distance, as they're all momentarily distracted, they see this gorgeous beach house, right? And as they approach the beach house, Agatha says something to the group. She says, "This beach house is straight off of your vision board," in reference to Jennifer. So they walk into this beach house. It's nice as shit. Their outfits have changed. They look great. Sharon's pretty happy because she's not covered in mud. And honestly, the space is just gorgeous. And I mean that. It looks like it's right out of Better Homes and Gardens. But as they start walking around, Agatha realizes that the door handles that were previously on the doors don't exist anymore and that they are effectively trapped in this house, but in a non-ominous way, at least at first. Now, while they're in the house, admiring the beauty, Agatha proceeds to tell them about the Ballad of the Witch's Road and how it prescribes a set of trials that the witches have to complete in order to continue to progress down the road. So, as they're sitting here talking about things and just kind of exploring the house and admiring its beauty, they come across a beautiful cardstock invitation. And this invitation has a riddle on it, and they have to solve the riddle. Now, Sharon has the worst day ever, and she turns around, she sees this magnificent bottle of wine, and that is the answer to the riddle. I don't remember the riddle, I didn't write it down, but the riddle was solved by wine. And so each of the witches takes a glass, and this is where the foolery ensues. The women finish their wine, all but Agatha, and everything appears to be going well. They're still admiring the house, and aside from the inability to exit the home, everything appears to be going well until the women notice Sharon. And when they see her, Sharon's face looks like it's something straight out of Botched. Her lips are big, her face has been overinflated. She looks like she's had the worst work done in the world. And then as they start noticing each other, their faces start to look very similar. And this is where we learn that the wine they drank was poisoned. So this wine it's called Edelweiss, I think. I forget what it was called in the show, but this wine had been poisoned by Edelweiss. And the symptoms of Edelweiss are distortions, physical distortions, hence the woman's faces. Then comes delirium. I believe there was something after, but if there wasn't, then the third thing was death. And this is a very toxic poison. So the witches are running around the house trying to figure out how to fix this. And this is where they start having the trippiest damn visions you can imagine, because they are starting to experience the effects of this Edelweiss poisoning. And I'm not going to spoil that portion. That's one of my favorite portions of this episode, but we get to see some very dark things about each one of the witches, right? Things that tie them back to their past that are currently not explained. So I want you guys to go and watch that. Tell me your thoughts in the comments on those. I have no idea what to make of it, but I think you guys will like Lilia's. That one scared me the most personally. So Agatha realizes what's going on. They implore her to go ahead and drink the wine too, because it's a part of the trial. And in this trial, the person being tested is actually Jennifer. Because this is a poison, Agatha instructs her to make an antidote. This is her bailiwick. This is what she's good at. And so Jennifer, despite all the chaos, manages to get a potion together, despite all of the girls tripping out, and she successfully makes a potion. Unfortunately, of the 6 people who went in the house, 6 people made it out. Unfortunately, one of those 6 passed away, and that was Sharon, at least at first glance. As an aside, I'm really into the Mephisto reference that Jennifer made. But anyways, I know I kept it pretty broad, not very detailed, but let me know what you guys thought about episode 3, your thoughts on Teen and Agatha, and I'll see you guys in my next video in the comments.